All right, you guys, we have another live stream. Please share, subscribe, hit that like button, and let's get with this live. White America Days has come to an end. Man hearts failing, fear. Now, how true the prophecy of Jesus in Luke 21, 25, and 26 concerning the present time. When we can bear witness that the seas and waves are warring, and that fear is now covering the nation as shown by unusual heart failures that is now occurring amongst man. These are the signs of the end of this present world. The seas and ocean are heaving up tidal waves to unimaginable height that man has never witnessed before on earth. Now, Jesus says the seas and oceans will rise into a complexity that man has never seen on earth. See, this is another pledge that's upon the wicked. Since the Holy Quran teaches that the judgment will be such that the earth itself will act as though a revelation had been revealed to it because of its perfect obedience to the laws of Allah on that day. Allah will use the power that is in the earth and the seas against the world of evil. The right race thinks that they have control of the power of the earth, sea, and air. It was prophesied that for a time they will subdue and have the use of the power of the seas and oceans until he comes, who right it is to rule. The heavens and the earth belongs to Allah, God. Now it is his time to rule. There is much prophecy concerning this terribleness of the judgment of the wicked. The power that is in the water is in the hands of God to use it against whom he pleases. The earth, wind, rain, snow, and ice, and earthquakes are controlled by God. It is a fearful sight to see the displays of his power with the force of nature, bowing and submitting to his will. I shall warn you that this is now coming into action against the Western world. There will be the destruction of whole fleets at seas. Those which are capable of lying on the ocean, sea bottoms will be destroyed. The die is set with a foolish people who, like in the time of Noah, could not see the signs of the rain, bringing on the flood, even after the cloud began to darken the sky. They did not see the coming rain until it actually started to rain. So it is with America. Pay no attention to the sign of the judgment that is now taking place. As it is prophesied, we see in Revelation 16:9, they blaspheme the name of God, which has power over these pledges. How many in America, in the cities of Chicago, disbelieve, even mock, and swear at the name of Allah, who has power over the force of nature, land, sea, and air. Allah God is now doing as is prophesied. We see in the Holy Quran, Surah 13:41. visit a land, cursing it of its size. The foolish still are foolish until he is cast to that narrow place and cannot turn to the right or left, as it was with the donkey that Balaam was riding. He came to a narrow place between two walls. He had to turn around. He had to stop face to face with the angels or be destroyed. The Bible in Numbers 22, 23, and 26. Now let it be remembered that Allah God came forth for redemption, deliver the American black people from their tormentors, whether we like it or not. He will do this. This is a work of Allah God, which is an effect. Let America use the history of the fall and destruction of ancient Egypt and her pharaoh. Let the history serve as a warning. They were brought to nothing for the evil done to a people whom Allah God has chosen for example of these last days, the lost, found black slave and their slave masters. We see the Holy Quran, Surah 30:41 mentioned is perfectly true, and its prediction of a present day nation, sea, and land. Power, corruption has appeared in the land and the seas on account of that, which man's hands has made. The most grave mistake that the black man is making today is to trying to hold on to the brief and return to Jesus, or that he lived and preached the saving of the white man's world. This is false. Jesus did not preach this. See the Bible. Jesus had a few disciples. Jesus also cursed the Jews, not to mention that he was trying to save them or the Caucasian people. They are teaching a trigonometry that the white man used to deceive the black man. They do this so that our people will not understand that Jesus declared himself against the world or the Caucasian race. The Bible, he also declared that the words of truth have no place in this race of people. They have proved this to be the truth by their mistreatment of you and me. The right race have never worshipped any prophet before or after Jesus as a divine man of Allah God. It's against their very nature to do this. This is why they kill all the prophets that they are able to kill. They deceive the people against believing in the prophets of Allah God. For it was made in their nature to be the enemies of God and his representatives. Before the time is out, they will be forced into submission to the will of Allah God. This will not be done for the purpose of converting the right race. Allah God will force them into submission to prove that he is able to make everything bow to him in submission. This is a fulfillment to the prophecies, the Bible, Isaiah 45:23. And to me, every knee shall bow, every tongue shall swear. The Bible says in Matthew 25:32. And before him shall we gather all nations. Holy Quran has a similar prophecy that you shall see all nations kneeling before him. This includes everybody, regardless to their colors. Everything in the universe obeyed the natural laws, which it was made subject to by Allah God. On the coming of Allah God, he now makes everything bow to him, whether you believe it or disbelieve it. The Holy Quran, Surah, chapter 3:82, does not make a difference to him, whether you are the devil or the righteous. All must bow in submission to the will of Allah God. On the judgment day, we are now living in a day of judgment. Black preachers, you waste your time in leading yourself and those who follow you to hell by holding on to Christianity. Revelation 19:20. You cannot keep them in Christianity. See, Christianity was not the religion of Jesus, Moses, or any other prophet who came before them. It would have been a fierce on the part of Allah God to have waited until just 2,000 years ago to give the right religion to the world, a man. Allah God give the right religion, Islam. In the beginning of his creation of the heavens and earth, Allah God has not changed. His religion is Islam, entire submission to his will. Why are the nation angry? And who are the nation that are angry at the resurrection of the dead? The 18th verse we see at 11th chapter of the Revelation in the Bible plainly teach us that these nations are angry mad because of the rise of the dead, and that God himself was the source of the power behind the resurrection of a rise of the mentally dead people, the black man. It is these slaveholders who have been the real cause of a mental death of the people we see. The Revelation relates to as being deceived of justice. God comes to give them justice and to justify them as being equal to their slave masters as human beings. As you know, from the 400 years of legal slavery and free slavery of the American so-called Negro, they have never been recognized even as a human being. As one devil says, they are only 3/5 of a human being. It is true that the history of our treatment by the devil's slave master practically made our parents and ourselves less than human beings. This is why I teach that this main right we should seek first are human rights. The American so-called Negro flew in love with the slave master and slave master children because the unlight attracted them and their brothers in Africa. Therefore, the manifestation, an enemy, the devil, and the revelations we see and the resurrection makes the dead to see that which caused them to be mentally dead. In the parable of the donkey who broke it upon meeting with the angels, he saw that the burden he had been carried on his back was false, Balaam. So in the resurrection of the mentally dead so-called Negro, they are rising to a knowledge of self. This knowledge make them refuse to continue carrying the slave master as something to worship. This have angered the slave master as the donkey refused to anger Balaam. Balaam set about whooping and beating the donkey to force him as unusual to carry and respect him as his master. This use of force to compel the one slave, the black Americans, to remain with them even now in order to make them members of society is only false recognition of the black Americans, this lost and now found people of the black nation of Asia and Africa. This continuous cruelty by the white slave master inflicted upon the American so-called Negro have angered God as the cruelty the Egyptian inflicted upon the Israelites during the time of Pharaoh angered Jehovah. This is a repetition of Israel history and of Pharaoh evil and these modern times, the appearance of Jehovah and of Moses, the servants of Jehovah, to announce to Pharaoh the end of Israel's slavery. See, Pharaoh became angry and went to work and tried to obstruct and bring to nothing Jehovah's delivery of Israel through his servant Moses. See, this brought Pharaoh to his end, and he and his army was cast into the Red Sea because they tried to prevent the freeing of Israel by the God Jehovah. The angry nation refers to white America, and Europeans was also enslavers of the black man. Take, for instance, the part that England we see, Germany, France, and Italy had all played enslavement of black Africans and black people throughout Africa and Asia, and here in America, North and South America. There is no such thing we see in the nature of white people as justice and freedom for black people, especially not for blacks in the Western. Now, their anger is running them mad and they're attacking and killing each other. There is no such thing as peace amongst them, nor can they produce peace for others. Holy Quran refers to this condition as the kind of hell. Surah 81, verse 12. Never before have you witnessed the evil that is spreading far and wide, every hour of the day, in America, Europe, England, and America being not the first, but the chief slave makers of black people. They disliked the idea of having Allah dispose their power over a Negro, though they knew this was coming, the loss of their slaves. It's a time of increase of knowledge. God has given the black man of America more light, and to this increase of divine knowledge than any black elsewhere, because he chose to make for himself a great nation out of the former slave of America. See, white America, brothers and sisters, are very angry at God for resurrecting the black slave into a knowledge of self and the slave masters. This means that they are entering into a war with Almighty God Allah to try to oppose the truth of God, preached by the messenger of God. See, read the second song. See, these white Gentiles, reptilians, are mad because God is here to resurrect the black people from the tormentors. See, the second Psalms, when we read Psalms chapter 2, verse 4, he will sit in heaven and he shall laugh. See, he will have you in humiliation. See, the great commotion. See, the great commotion of these governments and people of America, the civil unrest, insurrection, mental incitement, and we see noisy confusion. See, there is no action that is being taken, nor can there be any action taken that will bring the people into a better condition of civil actions. So the white American people have practiced evil and injustice to the man in the mud, the black slave, for so long that they think that there will never be any divine action taken against them for such evil and injustice. But this is what is now affecting. It is the action of divine justice for the poor man, black slave. Allah, God, and the person of Master Fard Muhammad, to whom praise or due forever, has the power, and is using his power on the wicked to bring them to their knees in humiliation. Allah, God, is the greatest, and there is no equal to him. Allah, God, can take us by our own way of thinking and spin us as though we are a play toy. We cannot fight a successful fight today against him. He is too powerful. You see, today he listens in on our thinking, and he's capable of making us to think and to do that which he desired to be done. See, the great commotion we see today is witnessed by the nation of the earth. For it is white America whom Allah God is after for a mistreatment of the poor so-called Negro, the lost, found, original black members of their nations. See, white America mistreatment and killing her black slave for sport, but white America days is drawing to a close, and she would not have this freedom to mistreat the black one slave much longer, as the mistreatment of Egyptian practice against Israel came to an end. So will the mistreatment of the black slave by white America comes to an end. Whether you believe it or not, it will come to an end. See, white America has so blind and made deaf dumb the black man in America, her black slave, that she will make these empty promises to the black slave, and he will accept her false promise, forsake the true promises of Allah God and the person of Master Fard Muhammad. to whom praise are due forever, who is here offering us heaven at once. We see this great commotion will continue in America until this commotion has destroyed the power of opposition. We see the title of this chapter is taken from the Holy Quran, Surah 101, 1 through 4, the disaster. And we'll make you know how terrible is this disaster. In the English language, according to the Webster Dictionary, we see this word disaster means a state of deep distress, misery caused by major misfortune, or loss of a great event marked by great loss, lasting distress of infliction. We see such disasters now prevailing in America. We see it's getting worse daily. We see the third verses of this chapter of the Holy Quran, Surah 101, verse 3, asks a question, and will make you know how terrible things will be. The answer is given in the first 4 verses. The day wherein man will be as scattered moths. We do not have to ask anyone whether or not this one of the Holy Quran is now being fulfilled. We see the fulfillment of this prophecy with our eyes and hear with our ears these great disasters that are now striking America. We see the great division, the great disagreement, disunity, and murder of man. We see the great amount of raping and murdering girls and women. There's great robbery and thieves going on every hour of the day and night. There are great storms and adverse weather conditions. We see there are minor earth tremors and hailstorms. There are signs and wonders of signs being displayed in the heaven and earth, and on sea and land. There's unusual behavior of children. There's unusual love or dislike of children by mothers and fathers. And destruction we see of the process of childbirth. There's the great disaster of starvation and great destruction of health and lives by the use and administering of poison drugs, which is practiced upon those who are free and those who are bound. What had been known as America is threatened today with total destruction. America is destroying herself in the effort to destroy her black slave. We see the water and air of America are being polluted by chemical use. While America's scientists of war conducts dreadful experiments on how best to kill human beings by the millions and wipe out life of whole continents. These are the days fulfillment of prophecies, and not one, but of many disasters. But in all of these preparations and destruction of human life by the devil, Allah God too has planned to save his people. Allah God has claimed over the black slave as being his people. And the white slaveholders is angry because of the loss of the black slave by the virtue of this claim. Allah God comes to take this black slave away from enemy white slaveholders and join the black slave to his own kind again. The enemy white slaveholders hate this, but Allah God has the power to force the enemy white slaveholders to submit to his will. It is the will of Allah God that the enemy white slaveholders let these black slaves go free. Allah God promised concerning these white slaveholders and the black slave. See in Isaiah 43 verse 6, I would say to the north, give up, and to the south, keep not back. Bring my son from afar and my daughter from the end of the earth. America. Since Allah God has now claimed the black slave, giving them the truth, Allah God has called the black slave who have accepted truth by his name. The black slave who accepts the truth of his greatness and being one of the righteous nations of his kind belongs to Allah, God. The books must be fulfilled, wherein it prophesies that he will claim them to be his own elect at such time as destruction of America. For Allah God has not chosen some of the people of America, the black slave, to be his people. There will not have been any flesh saved from white America. You see, the Bible, Mark 13:20 teach us, and except that the Lord has shortened those days, no flesh will be saved. But for the elect's sake, whom he has chosen, he has shortened the days. The black slave must know that this is the time of the judgment of both the white slaveholders and the black slave. The black slave must learn to know his place in the judgment. The place of the black slave is with Allah God and his own black people. The black slave had been deceived of the knowledge of his God and his own black people. Allah God has come and brought the black slave the truth. If the black slave refused to accept the truth, he would be destroyed for willingly and knowingly rejecting the truth when the truth had come and is millers. See, disaster in the country of America. No secret can remain hidden, for the chastisement of Allah God will not let you hide it. As one writer prophesies, we see in the Bible, in Isaiah 18 verse 1, whom to the land shadow it rings. This prophecy is referred to America, which had a cloud of planes, showering the skies over America almost daily. Now, can America exist with all the evil she had done, even into Nigeria? Can she exist today? Can she win in this universal war because of her divine intervention was set to destroy her? See, the coming of this white man to the Western hemisphere was for the purpose of expansion away from his brethren in Europe. See, Europe was divinely given to these right race of people as a home when they were driven out of Arabia 6,000 years ago to abide there on that continent until the days of reckoning comes to them. See, these are the days of reckoning for the right race, as the religious scholars and scientists agree. But because we see of their nature evil, they cannot help doing evil things against the righteous. See, they make war today against the righteous, the black man, to prevent him from accepting righteousness and the doing of righteousness. Now today we see the black man in America is a prey into the strong, powerful hands of his enemies, the children of their slave masters. For 400 years, the slave master had mistreated the slave, and now in the days of their redemption, they are doing everything possible to deceive them from accepting their salvation that Allah is now offering the black man of America. So strong is Allah's love for us that he now desires nothing but a total destruction of America. See, white America, they hate me with a bloody hatred, and they will try to kill me for teaching this truth to my people. They do not want this black man of America to enjoy his freedom, justice, and equality. See, look what they did to Reverend Martin King. See, a man who is trying to be their brother. See, a man who probably taught that he did not want to draw the white man's blood. He said, if there is any blood to be spilled, let it be the black man's blood. His words came true. Poor man. You see, he was without the knowledge of self as God and religion, and so filled with fear of his 400-year-old enemy that he can never get starvation for his people, for the enemies. See, America had been blessed ever since our fathers came across this Atlantic out of the confines of Europe until this day. Now for evil done to a slave, God threatened her with total destruction. America had been blessed ever since our fathers today had came out of Europe. We see America and Germany are the most evil of the right race, we see. These two governments have been blessed, but they have not shown any worthwhile respect to Allah for his blessing.